Randy, and thank you for joining me today. Today we are going to be doing something fun. We are calling this the Spring Hairball Challenge, and I have a team of people here that are brushing horses, and we're going to see who can get the biggest hairball off of each of these horses. I am standing here with Cinnamon today, and as you can see, she is an absolute mess. We're going to be tackling this mane. This is a good example as to why you don't want to put braids in your horse's hair and then leave them in, especially when there's a massive snowstorm. So I'm going to be taking care of this today. In addition to our hairball challenge, I'm also going to be showing you how we conquer our horses during shedding season. So we're going to be taking care of the full grooming process, head to toe, what we do this time of year. Since I have a lot of different horses, each one has their own brush bucket. And the reason I did this is because if one of the horses ends up having some sort of a skin issue, like rain rot, or should they end up with lice for some reason, or any other kind of issue, we're not spreading it from horse to horse by use of brushes. And during the grooming process, I can usually find if there's something wrong with the horse and eliminate spreading it. So I do use the same tack on all of my horses, but I'm pretty confident that with the brushing process, we could find if there's something that is potentially contagious between the horses. So I'm not too concerned about it. So here's what I do with my horses' brushes. I put the horse's name, their date of birth, and what breed they are. These are 3 of the most common asked questions with all of my students, so I figured, and it's hard to remember all of my horses and their birth dates, and so anyway, I have all the basic information on their buckets. Now, inside my brush buckets, I have, this time of year I always have a shedding blade, and during the shedding season is really the only time I would use this, so I'll usually just put these away after we're done shedding horses for the year. I have mane and tail brush. This is my favorite kind. This is by Oster, however you say that. And then this is my favorite dandy brush or bristle brush. I've had this particular brush since I've had this for at least 20 years. This one brush, it's my favorite. And then I use this one for, like if they've got a lot of mud or something on them, this one's really stiff, works out great. So here's my medium brush, my hard bristle brush, and then this is my softest bristle brush. This one is made out of horsehair. And then I also have one of these little mitt curries. This one is my favorite. It's really soft and works great on the legs. Really good for getting hard sweat off, mud, everything. And then this type of curry is really good for shedding season. It takes off a lot of hair. And I also have 2 different kinds of hoof picks. This hoof pick is good because it has a brush on the end, so when you need to get all the dirt and dust and everything out, works really good for that. But it's not very pointy. The little pick end isn't very pointy. And for winter, when they get the big snowballs in their hoofs and stuff, I like to use a sharp hoof pick. This one's got a really good point on it, and I can pry big snowballs out of the bottom of the horse's hoofs. So. And if you're using hoof boots at all, this type of hoof pick works really good for closing the clasp on the easy boots and such, where this kind will bend. Typically, I like to clean all of my grooming supplies about once a year. I do it in the summer on a nice sunny day. I just pull everything out of the bucket, soak them all in a betadine solution, and give them all a good scrubbing and clean them up. Something else that I did too is I color-coded all of my brushes with the buckets, so we don't end up getting brushes mixed in with the wrong buckets. It's like pony spa today. When I'm using a shedding blade, I go with the hair and against it, just whichever way the hair seems to be coming off the best. Shedding blades are cool too because they do open up, so you can get more. One brush that I forgot to mention that I do use on a regular basis is a metal curry. This works really good when they have crusty manure or sweat or mud or anything on them. That's hard to get off. This works really good at taking it off. Always start at the top and work your way all the way down and back. During the shedding season, it's hard to just stay focused on that because there's so much hair everywhere, you just want to keep going. And in grooming, though, it's good to work your way down and back. Start at the top. That's all I'm going to do with the shedding blade today. This seems to be one of the horse's favorite brushes. It's like a little massager. Probably feels good. This is a great one to use on the legs. I always go with the hair when using this one. If you've got a really dirty spot, I'll kind of scrub it, but it just doesn't particularly feel good to them, I don't think. This is a great brush to use for the girth area because it really gets all the little stuff off. You don't want your horse's girth area to be dirty at all because that can become very irritating when you put the cinch or girth on them. It's kind of like walking around with sand in your shoes. So I make sure that my horse is very clean where the saddle goes. Oh, that feels good. Yep, that's the spot right there. When I'm grooming a horse, I'm always really careful to pay attention to the horse's expression. Sometimes horses have really sensitive skin. They're no different than we are. And they just don't like to be groomed. They don't like when you push very hard on it, or they're especially sensitive to when you brush against the hair versus going with it. So there's some horses who just genuinely don't like some of the grooming process. And so I'm always really mindful and to make sure that I'm only doing what my horse is going to enjoy. Or adjusting how I groom to fit each individual horse. Ooh. Says, I didn't like that. So I'm going to keep doing that since she was a little touchy with being right back there. That doesn't feel good. I'm sensitive and don't want to be touched there. And I want to make sure that I can touch my horse everywhere because you never know if we end up with a medical issue and a horse needs to be touched somewhere. We want to make sure that we can handle that horse safely. So it's good to get them over that and make sure that they're comfortable with being touched. When grooming a horse, don't wear chapstick. So this is Cinnamon. Cinnamon is a 10-year-old registered paint, and I've had her for a year. This is Daisy. She is a 10-year-old registered miniature horse. I have had her since she was 3, and she is being groomed by Denise, and she's thoroughly enjoying her grooming session. This is Bear. Bear is 14-year-old Welsh cross, and I've had Bear since 2013. And I met Bear when he was 3 years old. I got to start him under saddle, so he came to me for training, and I liked him so much that I asked the owner if they ever decided to sell him, if they would let me know. And they actually called me the day after I had my daughter, so I was still in the hospital, and said that they would like to sell him and really wanted me to end up with him. So they ended up holding on to him for me for a year. I didn't go pick him up for a year, and he is a great little pony. And Bear is being groomed by Madeline. And this is Muffin. Muffin she'll be 18 this year. She is a Welsh pony quarter horse cross. I have had Muffin for 10 years now, and I met her through one of my students brought her to me for training, and While Muffin was in train, Muffin was kind of naughty. Muffin had a pretty good bucking problem, so she kept tossing off her rider. And while Muffin was in training, I really, really liked her a lot. And the girl that owned her decided that she liked a different horse better, and so they offered Muffin to me, and so now I have her. And the funny thing is the girl who used to own her is one of my students, and actually she rides her all the time and absolutely loves her. So she's been riding her for 10 years. And Danny the horse girl is grooming Muffin. And Danny is probably going to be doing some showing with Muffin this year. She's going to try to do some barrel racing and spend a lot of time with Muffin. Muffin's pretty fast, so she's a very athletic and quick pony. I have a couple of GoPro videos of me barrel racing Muffin. This is Rosie. Rosie is 6 years old. She just had a birthday the other day. This is my son's pony, and a friend gave Rosie to me. She's not registered, but we know that she is at least, her mother is a miniature horse. We don't know what her dad is, so, but she's just on the borderline between miniature horse and pony. But she's super sweet. She pulls a cart and does all kinds of fun things. So, and Rosie, I think, is so far winning. And she's being groomed by Darlene. This is Lucky. Lucky is being groomed by Beck. And Lucky just turned 17. And this is my pony with one eye. So this is the side, he's got some crusty stuff. This is the side where he does have an eye, but the other side he's missing his eye. And if you notice, it's like he has like a ball under there, and he still has eyelashes and stuff. So it feels like an eye in there, but this is a glass ball in there. He had some sort of a pasture accident when he was young and lost his eye. So he gets along just fine without it. We'd never know. So I've had Lucky I just got him last summer. So he's been a good pony to use for my lesson program. He's got a lot of sass, but he's a really good boy. This is Rebel. We're not sure how old Rebel is, but he's either in his late teens or early 20s, and he is owned by Ava. So now when I use my dandy brush or bristle brush, we always want to start up at the top. This one is a little bit too rough for the face, but I'm just going to get all this hay and stuff off right there. Start up at the very top and just work your way down and back. And it's kind of like, I think of it as like sweeping a floor. You always start on one side and work your way down to the other. You don't want to skip around with this and push the dirt back onto the clean spots. And I find that it's easiest to use the hand that's closest to the horse's face when working the first half of the horse. And then I switch to my left hand, or the hand closest to the tail when working on the hind part of the horse. And that way you can brush the horse without standing directly behind him. And it'll get you really good at using both hands. Some people have a hard time with that. I know everybody has their own way of grooming, but this is just how I do it, how I teach my students to start brushing. Everybody kind of develops their own style and what tools they like to use, and it's all personal preference. But my thoughts is if you just watch the horse and see how they react to it, that's the best thing to do. This brush here is a finishing brush, this really soft horsehair one. Oh, she's got a really dirty face. She would probably like me to use a little stiffer one here because she's really itchy. This one works really good at getting all like the dust and fine particles off of them. So helps them make them shiny. This is a really good one to use on the lower legs. Any of the real sensitive areas. Now I'm going to go ahead and pick her feet. And I'm saving the mane and the tail for last because I'm going to have to use a detangling solution on it, and I can't stand how it makes my hands feel, so I always save that part for last because it gets on everything and it'll make all my tools slippery. When I pick up a horse's hoof, I always want to start with my hand at the shoulder and I run it down past the elbow to the inside of the leg, and I squeeze if I need to, I'll squeeze this little thing right here, which is called a chestnut. And it's kind of like a little button where the horse just picks up. And I make sure that I have a really good grip on the hoof, and I make the sole of the hoof pointing upward. I wouldn't want to hold the horse's hoof like this because they can very easily take their leg away from you and slam their toe down. So as long as their toe is pointed upward, you've got a pretty good handle on that hoof. I'm just gonna clean alongside of the frog, and then I take my brush and brush everything out. That's a very clean hoof. I don't like to spend too much time holding the horse's foot up like this. I like to just get in there, get it done, put it back down. And I always set the horse's hoof down nice and gentle. When doing the back feet, I like to take my hand on the horse's hip, slide it down on the inside of her leg, and then depending on the horse, the size of the horse and everything, this is how I like to hold it. For the little horses, it's kind of hard to do this, but this is how I like to hold the bigger horse's hoofs. I've got a really good handle on this hoof right now, and I'm able to do this safely. Good. And I always make sure to set it down nice. I don't want to just drop their hoof. My routine for picking feet is I always start on the left side and I do the front and then the back, and then I switch to the right side and I do the front and then the back. And the nice thing about doing that is the horse gets into a really good routine. All I have to do is just go and stand alongside of them and they'll pick up their foot. This horse, I haven't worked on that enough with her, but the horses that I work with on a regular basis, it's really nice because it's just minimal work that you have to do because they're ready for you. So same thing, slide my hand down, squeeze that if I should need to. A lot of people get worried about like when there's chunks dangling from their horse's hoof. This is just part of the frog and that just sheds naturally. So it's okay that that's coming out. Sometimes when there's hardly anything in it, I can just even hold it like this and that's fine. But if I needed to, I would take a hold like that. My favorite mane and tail detangler is just a basic homemade one. I just use any kind of conditioner and put it in water in a spray bottle, shake it up. Sometimes I'll add some essential oil depending on what the horse needs. But I don't have any of that made up right now because we're just getting out of the season where things are freezing in the barn. So right now I have Cowboy Magic Super Body Shine, and this will detangle, repel dust, that sort of stuff. So I'm gonna douse her tail with this. I like to make my own primarily because I really can't stand the smell of a lot of it. Now I'm gonna spray this on and let it sit for a little bit so it's not completely wet. I'm really gonna soak it. For these really bad knots, I might need to also use, I have another type of detangler as well that I might need to use, but we'll see how much I can get accomplished with just this. Cinnamon has a little bit of a sunburn on her nose. This is from, we've had a lot of sunshine lately, which we haven't really seen in months. And with all the snow that we've had, the sun reflects off the snow, and so she's got a little bit of a sunburn, so I'll put some sunscreen on her today. Hi, Mama Doc. Right there. Go see what the ponies think of them. Show them to Bear. She's just annoyed. Oh, poor dog. This is Mama Doc. She's not a mother, but that's what we call her. I should probably... There are two safe ways to walk behind a horse. So the first way is to keep your hand on the horse and walk all the way around. if your hand is on them, then they know that you're there and you're not likely to scare them or anything like that. So a horse that I trust, that's what I'll do. The second option is to walk wide enough so you're completely out of kick zone and you're out of danger. The worst place to be is in the middle of that. So I'm going to demonstrate on Danny so you can see what I mean. So Danny's just going to kind of stand over here. Now, I look at it as, now, I would never hit Danny, nor would I hit anybody, but for instance, if I'm standing really close to Danny and I wanted to punch her, I can't really punch her being this close. And if I'm here and I was going to punch her, she's too far away, so I can't make any contact. But if I'm about here, I can punch her pretty hard. So I look at it the exact same way when working with horses to keep the appropriate distance away. So Daisy lost a lot less than I really expected her to. So there's her hairball. Bear, some of his got cleaned up already, but there really wasn't a lot left from him, but he gets brushed all the time. Muffin got a, oh, I don't know, softball size if we were to like crump that together. Yep. Okay, and then
Oh my God.
Rosie had a baby. And Lucky got like a soccer ball size. And then Rebels is about soccer ball size. So I would say that Darlene and Rosie definitely win the hairball challenge. So,
Hey, Rosie.
I'll go get the prize.
That's for Rosie.
Okay, so prizes from the hairball challenge. Rosie gets a carrot, and Darlene gets a t-shirt. I was hoping that I had one left that said "Got Pony" on it. But I didn't. So, well, thank you. You're welcome. I'll let you go back there. Yay, Rosie!
Here, Rosie, you were very good. There you go. When you get home. Actually, this worked.
What happened, Kitty? What happened? Let me save you.
When I'm brushing their tail, I hold on to it and I start at the very bottom and work my way up. Her tail's not bad at all. Now I'm taking a risk by standing right behind her, but I'm as close as I can get. Like you saw with Danny, is the safest place to be is far enough away so you're out of kick range, but the next safest thing is to be really close to them. So you can still get kicked, but it's not going to be as bad as if you were, say like here would be a bad spot to do with your tail. I like to be touching the horse. Okay, now this mane. Oh gosh. Ew. And they're all sticky. I hope you enjoyed today's video on how we groom our horses. If you would like to see more videos like this in the future, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Versatile Horsemanship YouTube channel. I hope you have a great day.
She just licked your hair.
Clover gives facials and hairstyles. Her whisker just went right here. It tickles really bad when a cat purrs directly in your ear hole.